Hey there, everybody. Just a quick intro on a new car I picked up. Actually traded in the Focus ST. Had it for about 2 years. Put about 36,000 miles on it. So it was a great car, but I'm a car guy, so I always love to try new cars, every 2 years, maybe even sooner. But so I started getting into Mustangs. I've been into them for a long time, loved them, and now after the 2015s have come out in the brand new body style, I thought it was time to take a look at and see if I can find myself a lightly used 2013 or 14, because I love the body style. I think they look really nice. And now that the 2015s are out, they're trying, the lots that in these new dealership, used dealership, they have these 2014s and 13s with miles on they want to get rid of. So that's where this baby, I found it a lot. It's a 2014, and it's a California Special GT. I kind of really like the California Special. I was looking at a few of them, not even really in my area, in the states surrounding, because I really like the look of them. This is a 2014 California Special, and on the exterior over here, this is the California Special adds, these side graphics down here that run the length of the car down here, and then on the hood by these vents up here, the heat extractors, there is a light kind of gray to darker stripe on there, and it also adds the these nice 19-inch black wheels with kind of gray inserts. So a really nice looking wheel package. If you go towards the front of the car, the California Special adds this new kind of front grille without the Mustang in the middle. It moves it over to the side for that different pony and the tri-bar emblem. It actually moves the fog lights from in the middle down to their own separate housings down here. So pretty much that's it for the exterior. I mean, that changes it. It adds these side louvers over here, and yeah, pardon me, it's kind of dirty, but I haven't really gotten a chance to clean it the past couple days. But I've had it for a few weeks now, so I've gotten some early impressions on what kind of car it is. It's way different from the other cars I've kind of driven. I've mostly had lighter turbocharged cars my whole life, going back obviously to the Focus ST. That was the last car I had. I had the Focus ST, and then before that I actually had a Dodge Neon SRT4, which was a really fun car, really light, fast, turbocharged, fun car. And even before that I had an Audi A4. So I've been into the lighter, smaller 4-cylinders, so this is a big change. I've always kind of wanted a big muscle car, so this was my chance to I really like Mustangs, and I really love the 2013 14 body styles. So I wasn't too sad to see these things going out of stock and having the new 15s with the brand new body. So I kind of like these a little bit more than the 15s. The 15s are still look good, but they just look a little generic and kind of Ford Fusion-y, but they do have a nice look. But I really like these 13s and 14s, so I was really excited to get my hands on one. As we kind of walk over here to the back of the car, the California Special also adds this nice pedestal spoiler in the back instead of the normal little ducktail lip spoiler that the normal GTs have. And actually, in the couple weeks I've had it, I did do a couple things to it. I haven't done anything huge, but one of the things I did add was this nice quad tip Corsa exhaust right here. That really adds a mean look to it. It's actually from the GT500. You can buy it in a little kit that includes this little plastic piece down here that lets you run quad exhaust in the GT. So you just buy the GT500. This is the Corsa Sport, and which is kind of in the middle between their normal touring and their insanely loud. So the Sport is nice and in the middle. So I put that on a couple nights ago. I actually did already threw up a video of the before and after. It adds a really nice tone to it, not too loud at all, but adds some nice bite to the exhaust, which is real nice. And also the California Special gets this nice emblem here, with the black deck lid. That's normal though, but I love the exterior of these 2014s. So that's about it on the exterior, at least. Really nice, sharp looking car. Pretty excited to get in it. Like I said, totally different driving style. Big boaty, floaty muscle car compared to light little cars that handle really well, but man, this thing can go. So here, why don't I run over here and I'll pop the hood. And these are the key. This is the key for it. No push button starter anymore, so going backwards there, but kind of sucks, but no biggie. And oh, this one does have the option, which if it was nighttime you'd be able to see, but it at nighttime when you lock it or unlock it, it'll project a little pony onto the ground, which is kind of funny, but neat, I guess. And I will pop the hood right here real quick and have a look at the 5-liter. I haven't done anything to the 5-liter yet. It's still your basic 5-liter. And here it is, 5-liter V8, 302 cubes, 420 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. All, like I said, all stock so far. It's been a couple weeks, but eventually I'd like to get, you know, a combination cold air intake with the tune would be nice, but nothing huge I can foresee with this. I mean, I'm still getting used to the nice 420 horsepower, so it moves this big boat pretty quick. So, yeah, like I said, you know, pretty normal. It would be kind of cool. They have blue covers, the nice Boss valve cover kind of covers. You can get the coil covers is what they're called, but you can get, that would look pretty sharp in here. But yeah, basic stock, functional. And here, we'll get inside the car now real quick. Oh. All right. And as we step inside, as we step inside, I can give you a look around here. Now, one couple things in here that make the California Special different. Number one, when you get in, is these seats. They're pretty much basic GT seats. They have the nice embossed GTCS right here. That's pretty nice. And then they have this nice kind of Alcantara microfibery cloth material. So that's really nice and grippy, holds you in place surprisingly well, because they have a little bit of bolstering, a little bit, but it really doesn't hold you. It felt like it's kind of, the seats are made for bigger individuals, not, you know, like the Recaros I had in the Focus ST, and even the really nice seats I had in the SRT4. Those are kind of meant for skinnier guys, and it'll hold you in a little bit. These, I mean, the Alcantara in this, or I don't even know if it's a real Alcantara, but this does hold you in. It's very grippy. It does hold you in better than I actually thought it would, which is kind of surprising, so because there's not much bolstering, but it holds you in pretty well. So, and you come over here. This is on just the CS right here, this nice leather stitched door padding here with the nice pony running on it. That's pretty nice. Normally it's just, I don't know if it's cloth or some kind of felt or something, so that's a nice addition. And then you come up here, this is nice for the California Special, this nice carbon fibery overlay over the dash here, which looks really sharp. It makes everything kind of a blacker tone in here, but not too bad at all. So coming across, so that's pretty much, you know, it for the California Special. This shifter knob down here, this I got from American Muscle, because the stock one's kind of stupid looking. It looks like a big thumb is sticking up, so I just got this nice white one. It matches the interior, looks real good. Yeah, so so going up here, this is the shaker stereo system, nothing special. This is the mid-tiered 500 system. It went up to the 1000 watt with the sub in the truck. This is the 500, so there's no sub in the trunk, but at least you do have separate subwoofers in the doors down here along with the speaker in here. So it does, and these are actual subwoofers, so it adds a little bit of punch. I mean, it's not a great system, not as good as the 10-speaker Sony and the ST, definitely, but it's not, I mean, some people say, I've looked up and some people said they're awful, and it's okay. I mean, it sounds better than a stock stereo sounds like. It's decent. So, and you can feel it punch, you know, it's not a bad stereo, it's a stereo, so nothing special. It doesn't have the touch screen, which I'm not, you know, not too terribly disappointed on. I can just use my phone if I need to use nav or something, but back here to the center console. So, yeah, this is the shakers with the CD here, you know, your basic radio. It does have satellite, which is pretty nice. Your basic single zone climate controls in different areas you can adjust here. It does have the heated seats, which are nice with the microfiber kind of suede inserts. It really feels nice to have the heated seats on. They aren't as strong as other heated seats I've felt, which kind of sucks, but they do they do work. They do feel nice and warm. So it does have the heated seats, which is a nice bonus on these. A lot of these GTs I find are kind of stripped down and kind of basic cars, which some people like because you know you get your nice fast muscle car for a really low price and no bells and whistles. You just want to drag race and go fast. So no big deal here. Come down like I said, the shifter here. This is the 6-speed MT82. A lot of people hate it. You know, some people have had great experiences with it. Some people absolutely hate it and garbage, and it's exploded 15 times on them. Chinese made. Everybody, you know, doesn't like them. So far, I you know, it's really notchy, which, you know, it's not a bad thing. A lot of people pay to get the notchiness because that's why they throw in short throw shifters and stuff. So it is a notchy. I don't know if you can hear that, but I mean, it is pretty notchy. I mean, I don't hate it so far. It's a little bit, you can definitely tell when you drive it, it's definitely not as, you know, nice and smooth and user-friendly as the Focus ST. You can definitely tell this is a heavier duty transmission made for a big V8 with 400 plus horsepower. It's just not as smooth, but it's still easily daily drivable, and it's just a little, takes a little getting used to, but it's not too bad at all. The only problems I've really had with it are sometimes going from like second to third. Sometimes it'll skip over to fifth. Sometimes you gotta be a little careful, second to fifth, and you know, sometimes I'll go, you know, fifth and down to fourth, and I'll actually go to second, but it'll kind of lock me out. So it's good that it locks you out in that situation. But yeah, so I mean, so far it's been a good transmission for me. As soon as I got the car, I got the car with 39,000 miles on. The first thing I did was I brought her in the garage and I did a full manual transmission flush and new fluid in there, because these transmissions, from what I hear, can either be great or they can disintegrate and be awful. So this one doesn't have any grinding issues. It's really good. I made sure to test drive it like crazy and really hold the gears and make sure it didn't pop out and stuff like that. So hopefully that stays good. It did my transmission fluid, so hopefully we'll keep that transmission in decent shape here. You got a nice leather boot and your e-brake here, and down here you have your cup holders. One of them actually, it's pretty nice. One of them is actually super deep, so even if you got a big cup, it'll almost sit level, so it won't get in the way of your arm if you're shifting, which is actually pretty cool. And one of them is just comically kind of small here. I don't know what you're supposed to put in there. I can't even fit a can of pop in there, but it happens. And this car is optioned with the ambient lighting package, so you can change lights, and there is lights that are down here in the cup holders that line, and you can change the color. Something I thought was pretty cool was actually there's some kind of little switch in here, so I thought they would just be on all the time when all the other lights are on, but if you close this, they'll actually shut off, which is kind of, I would surprise they would spring the money to put a little switch in there just for that, so that's pretty neat. And then you come down here, this is nice and padded right here. You flip this up, you got two USB, or actually one USB port for your iPod. I have my iPod plugged in there. And then you have a line in and your 12-volt power outlet here. A little bit of storage down there. This car doesn't have a ton of storage. Back seats here, they have the nice same microfiber suede inserts going down them, nice bucket seats. Like if you have, I'm just about 6'2", so if you have anybody decently sized, there's no way you're fitting people back here, just to warn you. And then I did miss down here is your trunk release button, your traction control button off, and your hazards. And then and we'll come to the center display here. This is nice, your speedometer over here, your tach here, and this one does have the GT Premium package, so it does have the center screen here. I'll turn the thing on, and so it does have the color screen in the middle, which is pretty awesome. I like it a lot. You can actually go between here. You can go gauge mode, see how many miles to empty. And this is some nice information to have, and you can put all this in your own gauge mode, inlet temperature, stuff like that. So that's pretty nice to have. Actually, we'll go ahead and fire it up. So there we go, and you can actually hear the Corsa exhaust sounds really nice. I really like it a lot, and when you're inside the car, you can't tell very much. It's really nice and quiet. Just even when you're driving slow and barely accelerating, you can just hear a nice grumble. Just sounds really nice, and it's not too loud, so if I do at some point decide to go with an X pipe or a catless X pipe or a catless H pipe, I'm excited that these mufflers are good enough quality and big enough that it won't be unbearably loud and shaking the windows and stuff. So hopefully, I don't know, but other people with Mustangs could probably comment on that better than me. I'm pretty new at this. So yep, that's your gauge mode. Like I said, your trip, you have to have 2 different trips. Like this right here, I just started, I'm 80 miles into it, averaging about 20 miles per gallon. I've seen as high so far as 20, well actually on the highway, I've seen as high as 27, 28, which is pretty insane. But I went a whole tank getting about 23 to 24, which is way better than I thought it would be. So far, good gas mileage, so. And so it gives you, you know, your time you've been in here, how many gallons you've used, how many miles you went, average miles per gallon, stuff like that. Really fun. So and there's your trip. Your fuel economy, it can tell you real time. So as you step on the gas, how much you're using and stuff. Pretty neat. And over the last 5-minute increments, how you've been doing on fuel economy. Pretty nice. And then this one has the track apps, which is a lot of fun. You can do in little accelerometer thing as you turn hard left or right, the little dot in the center will move. So that's pretty nice. Acceleration timer, this is pretty nice. 0 to 30, 0 to 60, 0 to 100, 8th mile. That's pretty nice. And along with that, you can actually do an auto start or have the little Christmas tree countdown start, which is pretty nice. That's pretty cool. And I'll count down, and then we go boom, boom, boom. That's pretty nice. Or you can have your automatic start here, where you'll hit OK, and then as soon as it senses that you're moving, it'll start the clock. So that's pretty nice to have for your 0 to 60s and stuff like that. So, oops, I put my cruise on there. Oops, I was okay to end. Test cancel. Awesome. So that's pretty nice. In your corner mode, braking performance, I've never used this. I don't know if I ever will. It's kind of cool. And you can view your results. My last 0 to 60 I did with this was a 5.4, which is pretty terrible, but there was a ton of wheel spin. Still getting used to rear-wheel drive cars. Ton of wheel spin there. So that's pretty nice. And here's where you can go through your settings and stuff like that. Set your auto lamps, your oil life, and this is where you can change the my color. You can change any color you want to the gauges, and even there's little halos surrounding it you can alter. So right now I have green, a nice green backlight with red rings around it. So that's pretty cool. And you can also set your ambient light to any one of those colors that goes down here in the footwell and the armrest and the cup holders and stuff like that. So you can set that all to what you want. Which is pretty nice. And that's pretty it for the screen. You can set your my key with this and stuff like that. So it's pretty nice. It has some things here, you know, to keep track of your gauge mode. The only time I've ever really seen to use gauge mode is if to make sure your, you know, oil temp is at the right temp before you want to gun the hell out of it, or your oil temperature, or check your oil pressure and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty nice. That's the middle of it. And then over here you have just your headlight control, and then you push out or push in for your fog lights. Right now they're set on automatic. So that's pretty much it for the interior. And then we'll take her for a spin here. Especially this is also a nice video for me myself. As I go through mods and maybe get a tune and an intake and stuff like that, to see how it changes the driving dynamics of the car, just changing these things, or maybe pan hard bars or something, or just how they change. So I'm excited to see how this thing, I'm still getting used to this car actually. It's a way different kind of car to drive than these light little turbos I've been driving. So all right, turn here. All right, setting off here in our 2014 Mustang GT California Special. Now, one thing I don't know if it'll come across well in audio is the Corsa Sport axle back, which sounds really, see, even when you're not gunning it, it just sounds nice, not too loud, real nice. I was kind of depressed with when I first started driving this, how quiet it is stock. I mean, they I don't know why they had to do it, but they piped. There is an intake pipe, like on the Focus ST, that pipes sound right from the intake right in, and pretty much all you can hear when if you have a stock Mustang is just about intake noise, which is a little depressing. So now you can't really even hear much of that at all. I still do have it connected, but you hear mostly exhaust, which is a nice thing. And another thing I didn't mention with the center display here, something you can change on there, which I didn't know before, you know, buying this car, is you can actually change the steering feel, which is pretty nice. I thought that was only on the 2015s, but there is an option in here for sport, comfort, and just normal driving, which firms it up for sport, and in the middle for normal, and comfort leaves it really easy to turn, which is kind of nice. Just love the sound of that exhaust though. Transmission feels good, no grinding or anything yet at least, so we're good there. As far as just one thing I was super surprised coming from the ST is how everybody bitches and they bitch and moan about, you know, the solid axle out back and how it makes the car jittery in turns and stuff. And yeah, if you're taking a turn super fast and you hit a bump, yeah, it's gonna slide over, but so did the Focus ST. The back end would slide around if you do that. So I mean, one thing I was just super impressed by is how smooth and floaty and comfortable this car is to drive. It's way more comfortable than the Focus was, surprisingly, and it even has bigger wheels and tires, which I would think would be a little bit jerkier and louder in terms of road noise. It's just everything's smooth. It's floaty. It's bouncy. It's nice. I mean, now that floaty and bouncy does come back to bite you in the ass a little bit when you're flooring and accelerating it, and the car, you know, does do the bob and weave quite a bit, you know, brake and gas, and man, it moves around. But in terms of, see now, you know, I'm in 6th gear here, doing 55, right about 1600 RPM, so you can get good gas mileage with this thing if you don't floor it, which is nice. And like I said, with this exhaust, now I'm doing about 60. It is pretty windy out today, but I'm doing in 60 right now, pretty quiet. And the exhaust, you don't hear anything. So when you're cruising and you don't want to hear stuff, you don't hear it. So that's really nice. See, and then I can go in here to my settings. Vehicle, steering feel here. I have it on comfort right now. If I switch it up to sport now, I can just feel it immediately tighten down, and now it's barely anything lock to lock here. And you can see, you know, the Mustang is a big ass car. There's no hiding it. So I mean, you jerk the wheel and it's definitely not immediate. You know, the body wants to move a little after you turn. So I mean, so it does bounce, but it still is fun to throw around curves though. I mean, I've taken quite a bit of curves so far, and it is still fun. But it's definitely not as fun as or agile as the Focus ST, or as quick and kind of just quick and lightning quick as the SRT4 was. But yeah, so we can go to gauge mode, like I said before, inlet air pressure and temperature. But yeah, when you're not, I mean, that's why I really was surprised at how composed, and everybody, you know, like I said, talks about, you know, oh, the new independent rear suspension on the Mustang makes it so much more comfortable and like a touring car. This feels really nice to me. I was super surprised. Let's see if we can go around this corner and give her some beans here. I'll even kick her down to second. There's a back end coming around a little. Man, it just burns. Geez, and there's almost 95. I don't know. One thing I do not have is any kind of radar detector in this car yet. That was hardwired into my Focus ST, and I did not take it out. Luckily, it wasn't a very expensive one, so definitely don't want to do anything stupid right now on this thing. But it pulls, and I'm still getting used to how to launch this car. Definitely, you know, not really used to that. Different coming from a front wheel drive to a rear wheel drive. And this has Pirelli tires on it, not Summers. They are all seasons, so they kind of suck. But I noticed one day when it was almost 70, they did grip pretty well. So I suppose as the temperature goes up, they grip a little better. But right now it's 50 out, and it slides around quite a bit when you get on it. And that was with the traction on. So you turn it off, you can bring the tail out quite a bit if you want. So, but man, that's one thing that surprised me. When I first took this out and went for a few test drives, I was super surprised at first, you know, because you can't, with the sales guy sitting next to you, you can't just floor it out of the parking lot. I mean, you could, but that would make you seem kind of like an ass. So, but one thing I noticed as I was driving, before I was able to get on it, when I was driving it around, taking it around some turns, normal speed, I was like, holy crap, I don't know if this car's for me. Compared to the Focus, this thing just feels like a freaking boat. And, you know, this thing, I don't know how many pounds it weighs, less than a Camaro even, too. I've driven, you know, a Camaro SS before and stuff like that, but this is even lighter than a Camaro and stuff, and this felt still huge to me. Taking around turns, I'm like, oh, crap, this is not going to feel fast. It's going to just feel like a dog, kind of, even though it has 420 horsepower, but but I was just, you know, really surprised when I was able to get on it, and once you hit about 3,500, 4,000 RPM, it just starts to pull like a train. It's crazy. I mean, as this V8, I mean, when I drove the Camaro SS with the LS motor, does it have an LS motor? I don't even remember, but if it's actually an LS motor in there, I don't think so. But how that one, it had nothing for low end, and it was all kind of medium middle RPM torque. It kind of carried you, and then kind of died out at the end. You know, it just kind of, you get all your power in the meaty portion of the torque curve, and, you know, in the RPM band. But so, I mean, you did feel like you got pushed back, but it was pretty quiet. You know, you'd get pushed back, and then it was kind of like, but this one, it's kind of, if you started about 2,000, it's kind of like nothing, okay, we're going, and then higher RPMs pull, it just keeps pulling. It loves to rev, which completely different from the Focus, where if I was at 2,000 RPM and gun it, boom, there's your power, there's your torque, and then it's gone by about 5,500. So it's a completely different setup with the engine. I mean, obviously, you know, when you're going V8 to, you know, 4-cylinder turbo, but so that part was a big, I was really shocked at how big of a car this feels like, and how floaty and how boaty. And but how fast you feel this thing can get up and move, and how fast it is, it's unreal. Here, we'll flip off the traction here and see if I can get a little sideways coming out, if there isn't any cops here. There's a third gear chirp, and there's 65. Man, I mean, it just pulls. I can't imagine this thing with another 20 to 30 horsepower on it with a tune and an intake. I mean, man, that's, even stock this thing pulls. But I can imagine, you know, every car you drive, after you drive it for a while, you get used to the power. So I can imagine how after a while. But, you know, I've had this car 4 weeks now, I think, and still not getting old with the power. It still pulls, and I mean, it is kind of exaggerated because it is kind of like a boat when you're flying and you're shifting and you're moving. So it adds the sense like you're even going faster. But yeah. So so there were hopefully going to be some more mods coming. But like I said, the only thing I have is this nice, you know, white shift ball right here from American Muscle, and the Corsa Sport GT 500 quad tip axle backs, which sound just badass. I mean, I was worried they'd be too loud, but they're not bad at all. So even when you're just cruising, I mean, it just sounds good. You don't even need to go fast for this thing to sound good. I'm really hoping one of my co-workers has a Camaro ZL1 I'm hoping to test drive for a little while, just to see what that thing's got. I'll try to record a quick video of me driving that. He's a big Camaro guy, and he previously had an SS automatic with the tap shift. And that, I mean, it was pretty quick. It definitely didn't feel as quick as this, and it probably felt about as quick as the Focus ST. I think the Focus ST felt quicker than that, but it's kind of a heavy pig, so it'd be nice to see what that ZL1 feels like with 580 horsepower. But yeah, so far, you know, just getting used to the power. I mean, hopefully I can get an intake and a tune on it just to get a little bit more power, and I can, because I use 93 octane all the time anyway, so why not just get a tune for it, which would be nice. So hopefully I can get I'm looking at probably a Bama, but who knows. Jeez, but man, it pulls. But that's it for the introduction. Just, you know, for myself going forward, if I ever want to look back to, you know, it's not just for anybody else looking at picking up a, you know, Mustang, especially now that the 2015s are out, you know, and these 2013 and 14s, they're going to want to dump them, and they're used and they want to get rid of them off their lots and stuff like that. You know, I mean, for people who are thinking these things are like dinosaurs, and yeah, the interior isn't great. I mean, it's not a fantastic interior. It's definitely a step back from the Focus ST. It's kind of in the previous generation of cars in Ford's lineup, like, you know, like for instance, this center stack is exactly like a 2011-12 Ford Fusion. So I mean, you go back in terms of, I mean, but you kind of, it's kind of give and take. You lose some things too. Like, I love these retro gauges. I love them. And they took them away in the newer, obviously they want to go more modern and stuff like that on the newer Mustang, but they took away the retro gauges, which kind of sucks. I like those. So give and take, you know, you get a little bit better materials. Whereas here, you know, it is nice soft touch on the top here. It is, you know, soft touch in the middle, you know, but the doors, you know, you got your hard touch plastic on the doors, you know, even though this California Special does have the nice padded, stitched, door back things here, so that's nice. But it does, you know, have your soft touch. It's the center console is basically all hard plastic except for the where you put your arm, so that's nice. There is hard plastic in here, but they did put soft plastic, so it's not, you know, an absolutely ancient interior. So I mean, for anybody who's looking at, you know, 2013 or 14 Ford Mustang, I mean, if you can get a good enough deal on it where it's that much cheaper than getting you know, V8 new GT, or maybe if you want to go for the EcoBoost or not, I kind of wanted to pass on that and wanted to go big V8 kind of just to see what, you know, it was like. So I mean, I make, you know, videos like this so I can go back and look at, you know, as the years go on, you might want to go back and look at your cars and stuff like that and just see what you've had. And for other people who might be looking at, you know, Mustangs, and I'm new to this whole Mustang thing, and this is the first one I've ever owned. You know, I've been into them my whole life, basically. Love Mustangs, but I followed them. Never really had a chance to get into one, and so I'm happy to get into it. I'm not upset that it's not a brand new one at all, actually. Not upset at all. Even when I see brand new ones out on the lot and driving around, I'm happy with this one, honestly. And the things I was really scared about was the interior, obviously the interior. It kind of sucks that these 13 and 14 5.0 V8s, they don't have like the Boss internals that aren't forged and stuff like that. So they're not quite as strong in terms of the 2015 Mustangs. They put all those Boss internals into the 5.0, so they're a little bit stronger internally if, you know, we're going to supercharge and stuff like that. Actually, there's a guy down the street with an 06 or 07 Mustang that just drove by. Really nice sounding one. But so I mean, that's why I make, you know, I want to make this video for me and the other people looking, you know, as I get used to this car and learning things out about the platform. Hopefully, I can make videos of, you know, doing some mods to it. And, you know, even like other cars I run into, like if I get to drive that Z01, I'll make a video of it and so on and so forth. And a couple other cars I run into, I got a really nice 2015 Veloster Turbo. I've heard, and I just heard garbage, you know, coming from a Focus ST. Just heard garbage things about it, and actually my girlfriend ended up getting a brand new one. It's a 2015. It is an automatic, but it's the turbo with the paddle shifters. It's actually a pretty fun car to drive, you know. So hopefully I'll make a quick video on that and, you know, driving it around and hustling it through some corners with the paddle shifters and stuff with a little 1.6 in there. So hopefully I'll get that coming, but just kind of a long video, but just wanted to do a quick intro on this Mustang, and, you know, starting to get things going on it. And I did trade in the Focus ST, so that one went bye-bye. So, but a chance to try something new on a platform with tons of mods, so that's pretty sweet. So that should be it for now. Hopefully I'll have some more videos coming up pretty soon. So, all right, thanks for checking it out. All right, see you later.